Hey, yo, we're back. And this time, if we're lucky, you can see us.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Don't know yet. But
we'll see how this week goes. If it's a good week, we're blessed. If not, you know what? Shit happens. So Kyle, we had a serious weekend. We all know what we're going to be talking about today, but we got some stories in the meantime. Do you want to go first?
Okay, so I know you take this as a daily dose of your birth control for you, but
yeah, your boy's not trying to have kids right now. So
last night, Noah, my youngest, she's awesome. She's always going to bed pretty much around 8:30, sleeps throughout the night, wakes up sometimes. I don't know. I'm the dad. I don't get up for that shit. Brittany notices it. I don't wake up to shit. But she's generally just good to go at nighttime. But she's got 2 teeth that came in.
Ooh.
Changes everything. Once
Does
the
it?
teeth,
Like,
once
I'm
the
like...
teeth, yeah, this is what I'm saying. Once the teeth come in, that means that she has like weird pains and she gets comfort from just being in your arms.
Okay.
But the second that you go to put her down, a new type of cry. I've never heard this cry before. Basically, like in between, I fell back asleep because I gotta go to work in the morning.
Hey.
Brittany's got that part on lock. But like every 20 minutes, I just hear this death-defying scream, and she just went for hours and hours and hours. And eventually, I'm like, okay, I should probably help. I think we started around 7:30ish, and about 11:30, 11:45, I'm like, I should probably get out of bed and maybe give her a hand here.
Oh, wow.
See how we can do this.
You wake up, Britt's wired. She's like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, she didn't go to sleep. So then I grab Noah, and I'm holding her, and she's kind of like, she's crying, but she's getting better. She's in my arms, and then I go to put her down, like just reaching down, she gets a scream again. And I bring her up, and all I'm thinking is, like, this is brutal. How am I going to get up in the morning? And then she looks up at me and just, dad, 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 dad. She just started saying that on Friday. Okay. Now it's like, okay, it's worth it. I don't know why. But all this pain is worth it. And I'm like, I guess this is good. And then,
Oh, jeez.
I'm sure Brittany hated it. But about 5 minutes later, I put her down, she fell asleep. I was up for maybe 17 minutes at tops doing this, and Brittany was on, and like it wasn't even like she did anything wrong. It's just I'm magical. I'm just such a good parent that it doesn't matter what I do. It just works.
Yeah.
But then,
nice.
Then today, Brooklyn. Oh, I made that sound again every time. I noticed it afterwards. I don't have any drinks on the table, so I don't fuck that up either. But today, Brooklyn, she's in her fuck everything we want phase, where it's if I want her to do it, she doesn't want to do it. But she'll she's potty training. Hey, do you need to go to the washroom? No. Pisses herself seconds later just because I asked. If I didn't say anything, she'll go to the washroom. She's no big deal. But because I suggested it, I don't know shit. So she's today she's just freaking out at bedtime. Doesn't want to brush her teeth, doesn't want to do anything. We go in the room and Brittany's feeding Noah, and I'm like, okay, I'll read the book. And Brooklyn starts freaking out. Give me the book. And I'm like, fuck it, sure, you read the book. She grabs it, Mom, because she hates my lisp. She can't stand me. I can't read books properly, especially we're reading BFG right now, and the BFG uses weird words, and I get tongue twisted, and I lose myself, and even the kids realize I can't read.
Oh, no.
Like, I read real good in my head because I skip a lot of words.
I read real good in my head.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So she knew, and it went to Brittany, and Brittany was dying. But then everybody stopped crying. They all stopped crying once Brittany started reading. I was reading, nobody was silent. Nobody cared. Everybody wanted me off that book. So yeah, being a parent's awesome. It's the most rewarding job you could probably have.
I mean, I do want kids one day, but like...
One day.
Someday I think about that. Like, ugh.
That's what I think. I was doing the math, and it's about 95% of the time sucks, but the 5% is worth it.
Damn. Take your word for it.
It's not a good reward system, but
all the dads out there are understanding you. I'm just sitting here like, yo.
Yeah, it sounds like 100% shit.
Chill. my week was pretty chill. The weekend was pretty funny. So, I was at the restaurant. We were working, and there's this dude that's like, I've seen him come around a few times. He sits by himself, and he's kind of like waits for someone to get close to him to say hi. So it's almost like you like kind of avoid the table. It's like, because you know he's gonna try and talk to you, but you don't really want to talk to him because you're like, I don't know, it's kind of weird. And it's not like him just being there is weird. I'm not saying like him just going there looking to talk to somebody is weird. It's a pretty normal thing to do. But I don't know. It's like the way he tries to talk to you, it puts everybody off. And like I notice it, but I didn't really say anything. But when like 5 girls come up to me separately and they're like, hey, that guy's kind of weird, eh? He said something weird to me. I'm like, oh, who? And they point to the same dude. Then I'm like, I got my eyes on this guy because I'm like, what's this guy's issue?
Hey, where did you get your pants? Like, that's not how you start a conversation, sir.
So anyways, he finished up his tab downstairs and decided to go upstairs and thought he could start a new tab. Like I wouldn't notice it's the same guy. You're drinking all day. I'm not going to let this guy get hammered, you know. I'm going to watch how much he's taking, but...
I haven't been before, so I didn't think about the fact that you had to cut off a tab, get a new one, so then they don't know you've been drinking. I didn't even think of that. I thought you just paid two separate bills.
Well, I'm assuming that's why he did it, because he wanted to, like, you know, finish up, go somewhere else. But I don't know. Anyways, he finds himself, we have 2 floors in our restaurant, and the upstairs bar and the downstairs bar are their own thing, and he finds himself at the upstairs bar. And he's hanging out with the bartenders, chatting with her, whatever. Nothing serious. I go up there because the bartender needs a break. So I'm going to go up there, cover the bar, let her go for a break. I served him up there for a little bit. Yeah, he was weird, but, like... Sometimes these guys are just lonely, and I'm like, hey, well, whatever. Like, it's not hard for me to just shoot the shit with anybody. Like, I can talk about bullshit if we want to. Like, it's not hard.
We're trying to do this professionally.
Yeah,
it's basically just practice.
Like, I've always been a talker, so like it's easy, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, I thought me and him were good. I left that interaction thinking we're boys, or at least we're boys enough for him. But I'm probably never going to talk to this guy outside of work. Anyways, later on in the evening. The bartender had some of her friends come up, and they were sitting at the bar waiting with her. There was 2 girls, and now I'm pretty good friends with the bartender. I've met her friends a few times. We chat, nothing serious.
Yeah.
Everyone's well aware that I have a girlfriend. I don't hide it, and I make a very strong emphasis to never flirt or, you know, hit on any of the girls I work with because A, I'm the boss, and B, you don't shit where you eat. It's bad news bears. So like.
Do you get tips? Like, do you still get tipped out?
Oh, managers don't. Managers
so there's no point being nice. you got no incentive to flirt with anybody.
But like, I naturally talk to people, so like it's. I'll come up into an area and I'll start just like, hey, what's up? Hey, here's a joke. It's probably not funny, but like I'm trying.
I'm trying to break the ice here.
Yeah, I'm just here to start a conversation or just, you know, do whatever. And everyone kind of knows what the deal is. They know I'm not doing anything with any kind of intentions behind it. Now, anyways, so I go up to check on things because as the manager, I got to check on everybody, make sure everyone's good. I go up to check on the bartender, be like, hey, everything's all right. She's got a couple orders in front of her. She's making some margaritas. She's like, yeah, everything's good. We're busy. But I notice, you know, her girls are good, but I notice the dude, his beer's empty. And, you know, it's not good service to leave someone with an empty beer. So I look at him and was like, hey, you need another one? He's like, yeah, one more. I'm like, all right, no problem. I got you. Yeah. She was busy. I ring it in. I pour the beer. I give it to him. I end up leaving. Well, I found out later that this guy got pissed. And it's like, pissed about what? Like, what did I do? And he's like, telling the girl, he's like, this is your space. I can't believe you let him kind of muscle you out of your space and take over your area. That's despicable. Like, he shouldn't do that to you. Like, what? What do you mean your area? What do you mean push her out of the way? What?
So I think he's going with the male feminist side and being like, oh no, you're like woman power, and trying to get on that good side and be like, oh no, fuck that guy. I'm a nice guy for you. Like let's talk a little bit more about this. He was trying a weird way of swerving.
Yeah, right. And like apparently he was like, I don't want to get served by him. I only want to get served by you. And he said that to the bartender. It's like whatever. Anyway, so I kind of got the tip off and the confirmation after the fact that he's obviously hitting on the bartender and her friends pretty much
Well,
the
yeah.
whole night. Like,
Yeah.
that's all he's doing. But I didn't really pay much attention to it. And then, you know, later on, I go up there and I check again. Just like, hey, everything is good. Yeah, she's good. I make some shitty joke about, oh, your mat's not straight. Like, I just talk sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, it's not funny, but sometimes I just talk.
you got to say something so that you had a reason for being there.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes I'm just like, hey, I'm here, guys. Give me attention.
Yeah.
Anyways, I make some joke. The girls respond to me. I talk back. There's a little banter, whatever. And then this guy just jumps in and calls me out in front of everybody. He's like, why are you hitting on her friends? And I'm like, whoa, bro, like, what? Like, whose mans
Isn't that why you're here, bro?
I'm like, me? Whose man's is this? What is he doing?
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna come at me. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, whatever, dude. So I just, like, kind of walk off. And yeah, he was just, like, totally, like, threatened by my presence for whatever reason. I have no idea. Anyway, so later on, next day or so, I got to talk to the bartender again, kind of, like, recapping how that night went.
Yeah.
And she says that, like, it was really entertaining because her friends are savage. The shit that they said, or that she told me that they said to this guy, like, I guess at one point he, like, expressed that he's bored and, like, no one ever talks to him, so he's kind of just, like, here. And I guess she's like, oh, you're sad and lonely and you just want to talk to people? Why can't you talk to women? You don't know how to talk to women properly? And she's, like, just going for the jugular.
Just a mean lady.
It's just being... I mean, it's not like he didn't deserve it, but...
She's playing the game that he's playing.
Yeah,
let's see if we can work it.
She is being ruthless. And I'm just saying, like, damn, if someone said that to me, I'd walk it off. I'd be like, you know what? Pay my bill. I should probably just go. Like, I'm not just going to take this L.
I don't believe that for 1 second.
But, like...
I've never seen you walk away. Somebody makes a comment that beats you, and you're going to be like, oh, yeah, I take an L. No problem.
okay.
I'm going to take a walk.
Okay.
No, you're fighting that back. You're going until it's over.
Here's the thing. Do I take that many L's? I don't think so. I know you're going to debate that.
You accept that many L's. That's what I'm saying. You take L's on a daily dosage, like a daily vitamin, but you don't keep them.
But, like, if I was... I don't know. It's just something about the idea. If I was, like, openly trying to swerve on somebody and they just cut my balls off like that, there's nothing left for me here.
Yeah.
There's no winning. Yeah. Why am I here?
Next.
Move along.
Yeah.
Get over it. But this guy was just, like, taking it. And he was just sitting in the fire. And they were roasting him. And they said they just, like... They were roasting him the whole night. And he was just, like, still trying to pull. It's like, bro. And then I'm just thinking,
like you said, he's a regular, right? Like, he's generally there.
He's kind of a new regular. Like, he's new to the area, so he's been showing up lately. But
so
like,
he's probably taken his lumps enough times that he's like, I get it. They're gonna talk shit, but now we might build a rapport. Let's go forever and see if maybe at the end of the night it works. Odds are I'm not getting anybody. Clearly, I can't talk to anybody. But like, hey, let's see. They're at least talking to me,
right? Yeah, it was such a bizarre thing, and I was like, what am I watching?
I guess I must have gotten lucky because I never, like, because I was with Brittany before I was able to go to a bar, and like by the time she was able to go to a bar, well, we had fake IDs, so we were in there early. But
okay.
But like, I could never imagine just showing up somewhere and being like, hey, does this work? And then, like, when they just say no immediately in the rudest way possible, and be like, okay, next. Like, that'd be too scary. I'd probably be alone forever if that was my options. Like, definitely dating apps. That'd be the only possibility.
I think that's what, like, most of the guys, especially as they get, like, closer to our age, I think that's pretty much the only way to do it, is you gotta do dating apps, because, like, I don't know, there's something about going to the bar that's even, like, I mean, like, yeah, you can go to the bar and, like, have a couple drinks, whatever, maybe you meet someone, but even then, like, this whole, like, guys going to the bar to get laid and stuff like that, it always comes with, like, the slightest, like, hint of date rapey, like...
Yeah, that's where everything is, like, you gotta have your papers ready for them to sign beforehand, and, like...
It's not worth it.
And for us, we're in Chilliwack. Like, what bar are we gonna go to? We're gonna go to Corky's, See if we can pick up 3 kids with the girl. Like we don't want to be stepdads immediately. Like you can't go out and chill after look for a girl. So you gotta
just call out the town.
You gotta make your way out to Abbey. You gotta go further, and then like if a guy were to take a girl home, okay, let's take a 45-minute cab home. Like no, nobody can afford to get people in Chilliwack.
I'm dying because it's so real. Like, I can't.
I didn't live it, but I saw people do it. I've seen a couple of my boys spend too much money on a cab.
I saw some like TikTok or something where some girl was like justifying having 6 baby daddies versus having 6 babies with one daddy, and it was like something like 6 babies.
Entrepreneur.
Yeah, it's like 6 babies, one daddy is like you get like 34%, comes out to like $600 something versus like. If you get like one baby with 6 different daddies, it's like 17% for each daddy, which came up to like $2,000 a month. And she's like, "It's just business."
Would you like a single stream income or multiple streams? No, you get that multiple stream. If that's what the baby's for, if you're not having it with the same guy, you're probably having it for the money. Honestly, especially once you get to the like 6, once you get to second hand. That's no longer like, I just really wanted to have kids. It's like, I made a decision after 3 that this is a good financial gain for me.
Yeah, I honestly, I was in it for the money.
You knew what you were doing.
Did I tell you the story about the dude, that old guy that picked up a lady at the bar the other day?
I want to hear about this hero. How old are we talking? Because like old used to be what we are now. So like, are we talking like gray hair? Like Silver Fox?
Okay, so... No, we're talking about white hair, fucking old ass man. Okay, so basically...
Somebody that's got a pocketbook.
It started off in the cringiest of dynamics. So basically, this lady comes in. She's obviously of African descent. She's got a strong accent, so she's probably newer to the country. And she says she's meeting a friend. She's just at the bar. And I'm like...
Sounds like this guy was born for this moment.
Just wait. So I'm like, all right, cool. Get her a seat at the bar. She's chilling. The guy she's meeting is a guy that I've known a little bit. He's come into the restaurant. He also has a thicker accent. So, like, he's also relatively new to the country. Oh, you guys are meeting up? Makes sense. Have a seat, whatever. And then we have this regular come in. This guy, he's like 60 plus. White hair. He's got all the charisma, he's got all the game, he's got the wheels. I can tell when he was younger, this guy pulled. Because he's a charming guy.
I feel like I might know who this guy is. I don't want to say his name, but do you know the guy's name?
Yeah.
Is it RB?
No.
Randy? Okay, there's a Silver Fox that I know that would do that shit.
Anyways, I know he can talk. But like... He's old as shit, and he's not good looking. So, like, he's definitely past his prime, but he does his thing. He's at the fucking bar, like, every night.
I said this a couple episodes back. If you don't have looks, you gotta have a personality. This guy sounds like it's textbook. Like, I think he's writing the story for me.
Right? Anyways, so he starts chatting them up. And, we're thinking, like, they're together. First off, once we kind of got more details on them, I was kind of like, what are they doing together? Because I guess he's married and she's friends with his wife. Why are they at the bar together? They said that, like, oh, she doesn't like going out. I'm like, that sounds pretty sus. But anyways, not my issue. So they're chatting, and this guy goes up to me, the regular. He's like, hey, Dustin, these are my African friends. And I'm like, bro, like, why do you have to say African? Like, can't you just say my friends?
Yeah.
Like, what?
I could have guessed. I don't need to know.
And so now I'm just sitting here, I'm like, cool, these people came to grab a drink, and this old white guy is sitting here saying, like, subtly racist shit to them. That must be fun.
They're like, oh yeah, this is my European friend.
Yeah, that must be fun. Anyways, I'm just like, cringe. I'm like, dude, you don't have to say African. Like, how long have they been in the country? 3 years? They're basically Canadian. I don't know what the issue is. Like, why do you have to call them Africans? Like, I can see. I'm not blind.
Yeah.
But anyways, so it starts off with these weird racist undertones. And then at some point she gets up and goes to the washroom. Well, as she comes back from the washroom, he's on, like, the edge of the bar. She stops there, and he's like, hey, and he starts talking to her. And you know how it is. You get this, like, the slow talk. He's in here. Yeah. And she stands there with him for a good 15, 20 minutes. Way longer than I thought she would have.
Yeah.
Well, homeboy that she came with, he paid up, and he just left. He was just like, Like, he was just like, whatever. Like, if this is what you guys are gonna do, like, I'm just gonna go. Like, I'm just by myself at this point. And so I'm kind of like, yo, like, what is she doing? And like, he had like,
did he pay for her drinks?
He bought them both a couple shots.
Okay, I was gonna say, if that would have been, he would have been my goal man. If he would have just paid his tab and left all the drinks and be like, dude wants to talk, you're gonna pay the bill. I'm out. I'm not paying for you to get that.
Yeah. Anyways, so she ends up finally sitting back down, and the old man, he gets up and he walks over and he gets all over, and then they'll go chat in the corner. Anyways, they're chatting up a storm in that corner, and you're like, yo, like, what's going on here? Now, in the meantime, this dude comes in who, he's a lonely guy. He's been, trying to pull a lady at the bar for a while. He's probably closer to 40. He's sitting here, and he has to basically just take in that this guy's 60, and he's pulling here. And the thing is, this lady, she's pretty. She's like, I think we found out she's like 35. Like, she's not even old, and she's attractive. Like, that was the part that got me. I was like, yo, she's attractive. Why is she talking to homeboy over here? But then I'm just thinking to myself,
there are stereotypes at play in this moment.
Anyways, they go fucking kissy, and then they end up fucking like leaving together, and I'm just like, yo, this dude, I'm just like, this is just the old guy that comes to my restaurant all the time, and now he's pulling, and I'm just like, okay.
Now he's the old guy that I'm buying a drink for.
Yeah, it's like, this guy's got game. Don't know what to say, but I don't know, man. It was just the fact that it started off with these weird racist comments to ending up with him pulling her, take her home. Like, she's gotta be after some like green card or something. Like, why would she want to deal with him? Like, what? And like, they came back like another day. Like, they came to the bar together again. I'm just like, yo, they've been chilling. This guy's got a date.
He made it. He made it work. Man, I didn't really understand how bad of anger issues I have hidden away, because I'm pretty good at like when something comes out.
I could have told you.
I'm funny, whatever. Yeah, I guess anytime we've actually talked or argued about most things, but I'm pretty good at hiding it from people that like aren't in my close circle.
Okay.
But I've been just having like every day at work, just other people fucking up and having to fix it, and I have to deal with all the people above me and let them all know, hey, everybody fucked up, and then, oh, well, can you fix it? Like, yeah, I can. And I'm down people, and I got to a boiling point, and I'm like, okay, guys, so I have kids at home, they're going crazy. I don't care about you at all. I don't care about you as a person or anything. I care about my kids. So I'm going to take out all my anger on you guys. It's not personal. You're going to just have to accept that. So I've been dropping all the words that Brittany doesn't like to hear. Every time something breaks, I'm calling it a cunt. It doesn't matter. Not the people, but every product that fucks up, I'm calling it a cunt. I'm calling it an asshole. I'm breaking shit. I'm throwing things. I'm yelling. And they just have to eat it. And then the combo of it is that I didn't realize that, because I have really bad, my heart always is running really fast. I've always got a fast heartbeat. Like, the doctor sent me in for tests because it's always going a mile a minute, but it can go from 0 to 1,000 in a second. Like, one little thing happens, and as if I just shot espresso straight into my heart.
Damn.
And I have to take a second away, and they're like, oh, what's going on? I'm like, I'm about to explode. I don't know what it is, but you guys gotta back the fuck up. I'm about to explode. So I'm finding this out now, and now I'm trying to think of new ways to express this anger without taking it home. Because I'm not at all taking it home. But these kids bring out anger. They test your patience as much as possible. So I need to figure out new ways. So I don't know if you have any suggestions, but because I can't be a football coach because I don't know anything about football.
Hal needs to start going to a boxing gym or something.
That's what I'm thinking.
You've been like low key trying to get in a fight for like the last like 10
my
years.
Whole life. But that's all I've ever done is try and get fights, and everybody's like, oh no.
No one wants to fight the kid that's like battling cancer. Or the kid that he's like a cancer survivor. Like let him go. Like no one ever wants to fight that guy. But you've been trying to throw hands forever.
I'm sitting there like the the doctor says if you get a paper cut, it might not stop bleeding. And I'm like, well, I want to fight all these guys at the bar. So, like, how's this going to work out for me? Like, can we just get this going or not?
And I'm like, Kyle, you don't need this to happen.
Yeah,
like,
I guess, I think that's what it is that nobody ever fights me, so I never get the anger out. I get to the point, and I never get that finish.
You never had that finish. Yeah, it's not like you haven't like been like angry enough to just go off either. Like you were ready to fight a few times over the years.
That's the thing. I guess I kind of blacked out a lot of like I blacked out literally. I drank way too much for many a year. But like I'd always fight. And then I started remembering it actually today is that I'd punch shit. Like I used to punch the ground a lot. Like, I'd get super mad, and I'd need to punch something, so I'd punch the ground. And I remember one time we were camping, and I punched the ground, but there was a rock there, and I didn't notice, and I split my hand open.
Oh, my God.
But yeah, I guess I have always had anger issues. I thought they were new. But,
no.
Turns out therapy session cleared up some new things for me here.
I had a roommate in college who was fucking dumb like that, too. When he would get angry, when he would get drunk, he would just try and, like, fight the wall for whatever reason. And he just kept fucking up his hand, and I'm like... Am I supposed to give you sympathy? Because I think you're an idiot. I mean, I don't know necessarily if I can relate to you because I don't drink, so I've never been drunk angry, but I'm also never been a fighter. Like, yeah, like, I play football, but, like, outside of, like, you know, my sadistic feelings that make me want to play football, I'm a delicate flower, and I don't like physical confrontation. Like, I'm not trying to fight anybody.
Physical confrontation is the only confrontation I like. Like, if we're gonna have a civil conversation about something that we both disagree on, you win. I'm not gonna have that conversation with you. If somebody punches me, okay, now I understand what's going on now. I can play at this game. But if we're gonna be nice to each other and tell each other the things we don't like, I can't do that. Other than with my wife. Anybody else? No. I can't do it. I was
gonna say you better fucking chill.
Brittany says too many things. The only way I know how to answer is with these hands.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, definitely need to chill.
No. But like, yeah, I don't. I've always been. Like, that's the only confrontation I've ever really had. I don't know what it is. Like, I
like to
never softly talk. I either de-escalate to the point of, like, yeah, you're right, and just give up because I don't want to fight, or you choose. We can fight, or we can both walk away right now.
Sometimes I like to be cheeky and call it de-escalation or, like, forfeiting, by kind of like backhand taunting them until be like, no, like you'll totally kick my ass because you're so tough. Like, and then I'm just like kind of instigating under this veil.
My heart started going because I felt what that feels like because I heard those words come out of your mouth. And I'm like, I've been your best friend for so long and I've wanted to hit you every time you said it. It's always terrible.
It's like directly instigating behind the veil of, oh no, I wasn't trying to start anything. I was.
And that's the thing, is that I have that same thing in me where we can easily be the person that starts everything that happens while also being the person that all the parents and the teachers ask us what happened and make sure that we're okay. Even though we did all the shit, we're always just able to stay above that threshold. Like, unless I get in a fight, then it kind of fucks it up.
Seriously, I don't really ever get in fights. Honestly, I've never hit somebody out of anger except for like one time, because like even like with like the boys, I've never punched somebody close fist. I've only ever slapped somebody.
I've seen you body slam.
Yeah, but see,
many boys.
Though. I'm talking
because this is worse than a punch.
No, I'm talking
this
about
this body slammed.
I am talking about punching people. I have never punched somebody except for one time. And even the boys, it was when somebody broke into Hope's car. This dude, I was going to work and some dude's like leaning in her window of her Jeep, and I'm like, what's going on, man? What are you doing? He's like, oh, it's my car. I'm like, oh, that's funny. I like drop my bags. I'm like, because that's my car. And he's like, oh shit. And he like takes off. I ended up grabbing this guy. I fed him lunch a couple times, but he like, I honestly thought like I'm gonna
fed him lunch. I've never heard that term.
I got
a couple knuckle sandwiches.
I got it from like an old fighting documentary off of Scrappers documentary.
This guy's like, I never punched before. I had to look up the term. I gotta make my own terminologies here.
He got so stuck on the word, he didn't let me have it.
Okay, you're feeding him lunch.
I gave him 2, and I thought, like, you know, maybe like this is the first time that this will happen.
Yeah.
He fucking just folded like a fucking wet blanket, and I'm just punching a pillow. I'm like, this is so unsatisfying.
Now I'm mean.
I just stopped because like at this point he hasn't fought back at all. I think he was shocked that I caught him, but like I play football, catching people is what I do. Like,
Yeah, no, people when he's looked at you, he's like, yeah, I could run.
right?
I'll jog.
He's like, oh, I can run this.
He sees this guy like, oh shit,
Yeah.
he's on me? Okay, well,
Yeah.
this is over.
I don't have that long-term speed. That first step's nice.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So like next thing you know, like I put him up against like this garden area and like put his head between his knees, and I just like I frisked him to make sure take away his, because he had like a tool that
We
he
got
broke
the
the glass.
Chilliwack Police Department out here. Frisking guys.
Oh, I didn't want him to like shank me. I was like, that would really suck if I was trying to be a tough guy here and I got fucking stabbed. Like,
Yeah, you fed him lunch and he gave you some grape juice.
yeah, it would have been a different story. But yeah, that was like the only time I ever punched somebody. It was just like he just completely submitted to me immediately, and I was like, well, that wasn't a fight at all.
I've never punched somebody. I've never sucker punched somebody or gotten like a fight where I was the one that started it. It was like, well, no, I always started it, but by my words, I was always the other person had to punch first, and then depending on what kind of person they were, it would be if they punched me, I could punch them back because I had morals. I'm not gonna feed a guy lunch when he's already fucking full.
That's like a new word.
Once a guy's got a full stomach, you can't keep giving him BLTs. Like he's got to take a break. You can't keep doing that. This is rude.
Taking the expression pretty far.
I love it. I wish I was a violent person.
I forget who I was. What I think it was like it was some like old time NHL hockey players that were like grinders talking about what it's like to be like the scrabber.
That sounds like
it was one of those guys that was like, yeah, you fed him lunch, and I was just like using that. Don't play hockey. Never did, but using that.
That's like Brittany a long time ago. I think is what the fuck was it? I think I was playing Chell and somebody said, "Oh, you put him through a fucking blender," and Brittany's like, "What the fuck is that?" Like, oh, probably like spin him around, spin him around. She's like, is that like if they drop their jockstrap? Is that like you put them in the dishwasher in the washing machine? I'm like, Brittany, you're trying. I give you credit, but no.
When she thought that losing your jock was like a reality, when that's also a different expression. Like, what? Never lost my jock. Honestly, never wore a jock, so like,
no, I've never.
But I didn't play hockey, so maybe in hockey they wear jocks still. I don't know. Football, it's a bad idea because if you're falling all over the place, that could really separate a nut. And
that's that'd probably be fine. Like, where you gonna go?
Yeah, you're nice.
Go righty, lefty, it doesn't matter.
You're nice, but like, I'm chill. You know, that's tough.
Okay. So I did it again, but we got. I always hit this table.
This guy's got a ring on, so he just smacks the table
every time.
Bang.
Gotta get that ding. Make sure you guys are still awake. But so we gotta talk about football because as much as I've talked about football, I don't generally watch full games. But this weekend I watched both games, and polar opposites, but both awesome to watch.
So let's start with the second game because that's the least eventful.
Oh yeah, the fucking Tyreek Hill show.
So first off, first quarter was pretty nice. First quarter I was like, oh, this is gonna be a game.
It's a real game, yeah.
But like,
mostly because a guy drops a fucking punt.
How gross is Tyreek Hill after the catch? Like, they've been saying things like human joystick since like Dante Hall was playing for the Chiefs back in like the early 2000s. But like, when you put like Dante Hall tape up against Tyreek Hill tape, Dante Hall looks like a better version of NFL players. Tyreek Hill looks like an entirely new animal that we have not seen before. And I don't think, like, realistically, despite how good some of the corners are in this league, I don't think there's anyone that can play this guy man to man. He's too fast.
I think they can play man to man, but once he catches it, there's no one person that's stopping him.
Yeah.
If he catches it with space, like if you're not within like probably 5 yards of him, even that, like there's no chance you're stopping him before he gets past you.
Well, like
He's so like I've never seen a human being catch the ball, stop, and then be in a different direction.
Right.
Just completely gone before somebody can turn.
and that's what's terrifying because there's like how many times in that game did he catch the ball on like the outside near the sideline, and like any normal person would have caught the ball and had to like toe drag out or like taken 2 steps and try to get a few more yards, but they go out, and he like catches the ball, immediately stops, and he's at
Yeah.
the sideline for an extra 10. Like what?
Makes moves, beats a guy when he's supposed to be out of bounds.
Like yeah, and there was that one play where I think they challenged it and he was out of bounds.
Yeah.
He stepped on the line, but like realistically,
if he
if
didn't,
we're talking about
yeah.
this much, that's still a 30-yard play that he turned out of nothing and
Yeah.
just pure speed.
Yeah, he had. I think it was like a 5-yard reception. Like he got it with 5, and he's at this sideline, and he was still able to beat his man to the sideline and pass.
Yeah,
I've never seen something like that.
That's what's so terrifying is like, as much as I respect what the Bucks are doing, who can stop someone that fast? It's disgusting.
And that's the thing is that he's that fast, he's that great of a receiver. But then there's Travis Kelce.
And it's like,
he's Gronk 2.0. He's a
see
more
the-
athletic Gronk, probably.
you see the safeties playing so high against Buffalo to like stop Tyreek Hill obviously from going deep on them.
Yeah.
All that does is back the defense up and leave underneath for like one of the greatest tight ends of all time. Like Kelsey's fucking nice too.
Yeah.
Like he's gross. And he just ate them alive underneath. They were like, I remember at one point they're saying like he might set a record for the most catches. I think he tied Shannon Sharp's record. I think I heard that he tied it for the most tight end receptions in the first half of a playoff game.
Yeah, because I think he had 10 receptions, 100 yards in the first half.
Yeah.
And like
Wow.
that's technically your second option, and then you're sitting there with Nicole Hardman. I think that's his first name.
McCole Hardman.
I said Nicole. I don't know if I said Nicole.
McCole Hardman.
But
He's technically their number 4, but he was number 3 last night because Sammy Watkins was hurt.
oh, okay.
But McCole Hardman is fast as
Yeah,
shit.
can't remember the name of the play, but when he came from the side, gets the handoff,
Jet
and
sweep.
just gone.
Yeah.
Just gone.
50 yards.
Like, that's the kind of offense that they have. And then we haven't even talked about potentially the next GOAT. Like Patrick Mahomes, after watching that game, watching all his games, he's in line. Especially if he goes in there on the 7th and takes out Tom Brady. As much as Tom Brady didn't have that great of a game, it's still Tom Brady. This might be the time where it's passing the throne.
There's 2 things that I love. I love, one, that this is the first time that the 2 most recent Super Bowl champions are facing each other, because Tom Brady won 2 years ago, Mahomes won the year after. Now they're both facing each other for who gets the next one.
Yeah.
That's fucking dope, number 1. Number 2 is I think it was like, I forget what it was, but people are talking about like, Tom Brady's like the best ever, whatever. And Patrick Mahomes is kind of like, we'll see about that. Or like, like so far, basically.
That's what
like,
I keep seeing all the stats. Like, Patrick Mahomes has never lost by more than 8 points.
Yeah.
In his career,
Since college.
He's never played an away playoff game other than the Super Bowl because it's not determined there.
Yeah.
He's since college he hasn't lost. Like the last time he lost by more than 8 was like a huge 66-10 or whatever that matters. And then like all he's done is win. And like I remember at the beginning, I think it was the beginning of this year, he had done an interview in the offseason and he was talking about how the year before he didn't really understand defenses yet. He didn't know how to read a defense. And everyone's like, wait, you might be the greatest quarterback in the league right now, and you don't know how to read a defense. And then once he gets that, that's a wrap. Because like you even see in that last game, they were getting so much pressure on him. They were like holding him. They've got a sack, and he spins, throws a 15-yard throw. Like, what can you do against that?
That's the thing. Think of his first 3 years. First year, rookie year, wins MVP. Second year, wins the Super Bowl. Third year, going back to the Super Bowl, will be to be determined, I guess.
Yeah.
That's disgusting. Honestly, Patrick Mahomes is pretty fucking gross, and it was. I thought Buffalo was going to put up more of a fight, but the reality is Buffalo, they can't run the ball outside of like, you know, a couple scramble plays that are like designed runs for Josh Allen, and they couldn't really block. There was a lot of plays where I'm seeing like Chris Jones just flying in there, and like how many times was Josh Allen just trying to like Derrick Henry everybody? And ended up like doing that. Like I saw clips of people, Josh Allen in game, and it was like them in Madden where they just take the ball and just sprint backwards at the quarterback. Like that's kind of what was going on.
He was on scramble at all times. He was making a couple plays out of it, but they were all broken plays.
But take it, how many dudes it would take to take him down sometimes. I'm seeing him like dragging like 3 dudes before he hits the ground.
Well,
dude's a big man.
At like 6'5", 235 or something. Like
he's a big man.
Like big like as a quarterback, you're Peyton Manning with speed. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, he's a big dude. So I love Josh Allen. I think they're gonna be back next year. But KC is another beast, and
that was the thing too, is that their offense is the best offense you can really kind of hope for, because like we didn't even talk about the running back. Doesn't even matter. Doesn't even matter what kind of running back they have. It's their pass is unbelievable. You can't stop it. But then their defense was strapping up everybody.
They were strapped.
Like the Josh
coverage.
Allen, Stephon Diggs. That was like the 1-2 punch of the year. Like other than Rodgers and Adams.
Yeah.
And what did it do?
Yeah.
He got maybe a handful of receptions, nothing big.
How many times did they like highlight the previous play and just show all of the receivers just glued? Like,
yeah. It was like the guy's like, I don't know what Josh Allen could be looking at right now. Like, you can see him going down the sideline. There's a guy coming at him. He's like, pump fake. And he's like, come on, give me something. Like, I need to throw the ball. I'm about to get hit again.
Right? Yeah.
It was kind of the game where it shows what KC was capable of. And it kind of, I assume it shut up a lot of people that were saying, like, well, they've been good, but they had I think they had 1 loss this year.
2.
Yeah, 2 losses this year.
Only one of them counts, though, because the last loss was the last game of the season where they didn't play Mahomes, they didn't play Hill, they didn't play Kelsey, they didn't play their running backs.
Yeah.
It was just a backup game. They rested their starters.
Yeah.
And so they lost that
one.
one.
Yeah, that's what it was. Patrick Mahomes has lost the one game.
Yeah,
but then he wasn't playing. But like, he lost one game, and people were like, "Oh, they're off. They're off their game now."
See, I think the thing is like, even like if you consider like the Browns game, they've only like won just barely. Like when you consider like sports betting and like the over-unders that they're predicted to win by,
yeah,
I don't think they've actually cleared the line like more than like once or twice all year. They only win by just a little bit.
You need that second-hand money. Like, you think Patty Mahomes is dumb? He signed that contract. He starts getting some other guys some new contracts.
Right? Yeah. So it's not that they haven't been good. They're just not winning by.
They haven't won by enough.
As much as people anticipate.
That's the crazy part about sports analysis, is when somebody wins by not enough. Like, I know they won the game, but like, he messed up 2 throws. So like, I don't know if they can make it back. And that's basically how sports analysis goes. Like, did you not see that one play? He missed that guy wide open. I don't know if he could be a good quarterback in this league. Right. That's basically what everybody talks, and it's like he just kind of went out there and showed, like, say whatever you want, I'm going to win another Super Bowl.
Right. Now, the big game that everybody was paying attention to.
The only game that anybody thought there was going to be a real... You don't know who's going to win.
One thing that my friends have told me is that you're a troll when you, more often than not, agree with Skip Bayless when it comes to sports takes. I think Skip Bayless says it like 5 times a day. He says, you never bet against Tom Brady. What did I say last week? You never bet against Tom Brady, and what fuck did he do?
We cannot be talking about Skip Bayless.
Skip Bayless.
Skip Bayless is... That is not his saying. It's just something that he has said. We cannot say that we agree with Skip Bayless. You want to lose all the credibility? Like we're supposed to be off the payroll. Not just saying bullshit that comes out of our fucking brains.
I'm saying what I say. I'm just saying.
No, you're right.
You never bet against Tom Brady. The only person I'm hearing saying that is Skip Bayless, and he's been loyal to that saying.
I think everybody's said that for a lot of years.
I don't know. But you got Stephen A. You got fucking Max Kellerman or whatever his name is, and Shannon. A lot of people throwing disrespect at Tom Brady's name. I'm just saying that's pretty silly thing to do.
Okay, the thing about it though is anybody that watches that game that says Tom Brady won it is lying. Tom Brady was on the field. He had like his 2 big plays that he had in the first half. No, I guess 2 out of the 3 big plays, they were skeptical throws. Like he threw the ball to fast
Scotty
guy.
Miller.
No, not Scotty. Scotty Miller was the bomb. That was the right play to make. But the super fast Godwin.
Chris Godwin.
He's running down center and he throws it to the safety. It's directly to the safety. Godwin makes a good play on it, sure, but like that's a risky throw. The second half, it got picked off 3 times when he made that throw.
Relax.
And then he's getting sacked, and he just throws up a heave, and the DB just couldn't get to it. It wasn't anywhere near anybody. So he was throwing risky plays. Being Tom Brady, it's a risk reward, and most of the time he's gonna get the reward on it. But the second half, it came back. He started throwing up those picks because he was doing the exact same thing. Tom Brady did not win that game. Aaron Rodgers could not complete. Aaron Rodgers could not complete anything. And that Buccaneers defense,
okay, so
5 sacks? that was ridiculous.
So when it comes to greatness, there is a lot of things at play, and we're not gonna...
mostly biased. But no, Tom Brady he's the GOAT, but he didn't win that game.
The way that somebody, and I keep comparing it to the last year that Ray Lewis played in Baltimore. It's not that he is a superior athlete to everyone in the sense that he's like the reason they won the game. It's not like that. No one's gonna say that he's the only reason they won. But the way that players like that motivate their team and install the confidence in their team and the belief that they can win this game is so, like, it's so valuable. And it's kind of like, to me, it brings back memories of, like, you learn in history class about how, like, people, they burn the boats when they're going to raid a country, or raid, a new country to, like, be like, there's no way back. It's like either we die or we take over this land. Or, like, Knights of the Round Table that believed in their God so much and believed that they were fighting for God, that they had just so much conviction behind them fighting as a knight. These players feel like they're playing with somebody of such high caliber that if they just work the way they work, this person trusts in this person, they will do it.
So the way you're talking, you do know that Tom Brady isn't actually a god.
He is a god. Shut your fucking mouth, Kyle.
I don't think...
And so is Ray Lewis, so shut your fucking mouth, Kyle.
Okay, Ray Lewis, I'm on your side with Ray Lewis, but I think you're feeding too much into it. I think Tom Brady obviously instills confidence. I don't think he makes them, like, burn the bridges because they're like, oh, well, we got our god. He's going to lead us there, especially, like, when you start throwing the picks.
How can you not believe in him? Look what he's done, Kyle.
Yeah, like, look what he was doing, though. But that's what I'm saying, is that it wasn't that they were believing in him. They were believing in the team. They believed in what they were capable of.
The team was nothing without him last year. The team was 7-9. They were dookie. Tom Brady comes in, first Super Bowl since 2000? Since 2000, first Super Bowl?
I know. You keep saying it was because of Tom Brady.
Because it was Tom Brady. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Please elaborate.
Did you watch the game? Yes.
The only reason they're there is because Tom Brady is their quarterback.
No, the only reason they're there
is because mistakes.
Aaron Rodgers didn't make plays.
That Tom Brady makes mistakes, and sometimes he throws bad passes. He's had some shit games this year. But he has also been great when they needed him to be great almost every time. This entire playoff run is him being great when they need him to be great.
What are you talking about? He just wasn't great. He just wasn't great.
That first half might have been the best first half of his career in a playoff game. That first half, he cooked. How are you going to take away? There's like no time left on the clock. The Bucks defense gets a pick, and he makes them pay with a deep strike. Now I know you can go ahead and criticize the Green Bay defense and be like, what's with the single high safety? But like the reality is, Tom Brady sees the mistake. He sees somebody do something that they probably shouldn't be doing. He sees something like a single high safety. He sees something like man coverage. And he's like, interesting. That's a bad idea. Boom. 6 just before halftime. That's disgusting.
He's a quarterback.
He's the quarterback, Kyle. Shut your fucking mouth. Anyways.
Okay, we'll stop talking about your god. And let's talk about the rest of the team.
It was pretty suspect in the second half. He was stretching the field. But it wasn't all his fault. There is one of the picks, he's like getting hit and he's trying to get the ball off.
And he's throwing the ball up in the air.
It was a tough pass, but like the receiver didn't even like see the ball. He didn't even adjust to it at all. And there's another one where it hits Evans in the hands and it goes to somebody else.
Evans was so suspect too. That was the weird thing because he played good at the beginning. Like he was making good catches, and then like you said, hit him in the hands, bouncing. Like that was the other thing is that Brady, as much as like I didn't think he did that much in the second half. He also hit like I think 3 chests and had to bounce off the chest plate.
So Evans pick, not his fault. The one that gets kind of tossed up and the receiver just kind of keeps running and the guy catches it. I'll blame Brady, but like it is what Brady. It is. It is what it is. The other one, that's the only one where I'm like, he fucked up. He was trying to bait the receiver or the safety off probably, and he just wasn't biting. And when he came across, he just came across and picked it off. It is what it is. It's football. But like, yeah, the Bucks defense put the straps on.
That was nasty. I've never seen something like that. Like, especially Aaron Rodgers.
They put the straps on. I'm going to give credit to the backup safeties that played because like one of their best players on defense is their rookie, Antoine Winfield Jr., and this guy didn't even play, and they still balled out. So respect to that. I think the biggest thing, and it's something that I think I mentioned it last week, where Tom Brady is going to win by making less mistakes than Aaron Rodgers. That's pretty much the key to the game. Who's going to make more mistakes is going to lose. And Aaron Rodgers, not necessarily mistakes that are all his fault, but like a lot of issues, a lot of mistakes that like kind of fucked him over. One, he didn't throw many picks this year. Well, he threw that one pick at the end of halftime that was, it was a tough play, and they paid for it. And that's what matters, is the fact that they paid for it. And I think overall in the game with turnovers, because like Aaron Jones is fumbling the ball too. I think with turnovers, I think the Bucks scored like 2 touchdowns off turnovers, and with turnovers all considered, I think the Green Bay came away with only 6 points off turnovers. So like that's a big issue in its own right.
That was the big one, is that Green Bay just couldn't capitalize. They couldn't do any. Like I think that's what it was. Is because I know Rodgers missed Davante Adams like good 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, when they
where he was wide open, but it's all that pressure coming on him the entire time. That D-line got through it like nothing.
That one series where they're on like the 10-yard line or something, and it's like Davante Adams in the corner. Davante drops the ball, and I'm like, okay, like that's awkward. Davante should have caught that.
Yeah, this is what you
do.
Then
the second one, they had some stuff going on the right side, and I think it was designed to go to Davante again. But it gets like tipped at the line. I think it was Devin White at the line or something. Yeah. He knocks it down. Okay, shit, like that's tough. And then the next play, they have Davante Adams back of the end zone, bang, feet down, feet are out by like nothing. Like, it was so tight. And you're like, cool. 3 attempts at the end zone, 3 probable should have been TDs. They left with a field goal. That sucks, and that's so deflating. And to have that be like the tone of your first half, and then end your first half with that gut punch from Scotty Miller, you really got to think of the psychology. And I think I mentioned this over text. Like, you're Aaron Rodgers. you know people have been talking shit about you because you haven't done anything in the playoffs recently, and you're going up as the great one. But you're confident because you have all of this firepower on your team and you're playing an MVP season. And all of a sudden, you're getting fucked.
Yeah.
And the ball is rolling in the wrong direction.
And I think in the regular season, the Packers had like an 80% of the time in the red zone they ended with touchdowns.
Yeah.
And I think they only had I think they went 1 for 3 in the red zone in that game, and the last 2 ended with field goals.
Yeah.
Which we gotta talk about that. You're down 8. You're 5 yards, like 5 yards out, 6 yards out, and you're like, we tried 3 times. We're gonna kick 3 and then try and get another touchdown after Tom Brady's had the ball for 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, I think the general consensus from what I've heard other people talk about is that he could have like ran at least a little bit further. Like maybe he wouldn't have scored, but even if he gets to like the 2-yard line, then maybe they go for it on 4th down. But it sounded like Rodgers thought that they would go for it on 4th down anyway, based off the scenario of the game.
Based off his the interview after the
the interview, he's
like,
kind of salty.
Hey, what do you think of the call? It wasn't my call. And that's your franchise quarterback.
That's tough.
Like your MVP. He's like, I didn't get to make that call.
Yeah, that's really tough.
But yeah, definitely, like, because he was mobile, he wasn't scoring a touchdown. Everybody's saying he's scoring a touchdown. There's a linebacker and a DB are standing there eye to eye from the goal line to him. Yeah. He's not getting a touchdown, but he can get those extra yards and maybe be like, okay, now we have 3 yards instead.
I really would have liked to have seen him try and race to the pylon. I don't think he would have beat Devin White to the pylon, but you got to try there. And I think, when it comes down to some miscommunication, that's just like it shows how, I think it's just like, it shows the difference between what's gone on for Tom Brady his whole career, where there's no moment in Tom Brady's career really where the game's on the line and they just make a shitty call. Yeah. Like in Seattle, they have the pick. And here, you could say that was a big one.
Yeah.
Teams make mistakes all the time, and it's a part of the game. But for some reason, Tom Brady is usually never on the side of that mistake.
That's true.
He's been on the side of unfortunate situations where, like, the Giants snake them at the end, and that happens. There's some heroics involved sometimes, and, even, like, the Eagles win, like, the Philly special, stuff like that. Like, he's been on the side of losing teams, but that mistake, that critical mistake that screws them, it's usually never him.
Yeah.
And that's just something that, like, people don't really acknowledge too much because, like, he just keeps it together. Like, he doesn't blow the game.
And something I wanted to ask you about with it, because for me, whenever I watch football, I think like if you're 4th and 2nd and 4th and 2 or something like that, in my mind I'm like let's see, like let's gamble once in a while, especially like every time that I saw like especially the field goals that they kept kicking, I'm like, what, like, why? You're playing Tom Brady, you're down a bunch, you're 4th. This is your career. Like, this is your legacy. Why are you not saying, no, we're fucking going for this? Like, this is the time to risk it for everything. You don't have time to be passive. You don't have time to make up these extra points that you're losing. You need 6. Every single time down, you need 6. If you're within 5 yards, fuck it, go for it. Trust your defense that if you don't get it, they're gonna stop them, and you're close enough. So I don't understand the mentality behind not doing that.
So the thing is when you're in the middle of the field, there's a lot of field to cover. Now, not necessarily horizontally, but vertically.
Yeah.
We can stretch the safeties. We can push, like, they'll say, let's call it cover 3. You got 3 deep zones. Usually it's a corner, a safety in a corner, and then you got everyone filling in underneath. You can stretch those deep zones by running vertical routes that send them deep.
Yeah.
And that can open up the space and create, room for Kelsey. But when you get to the red zone, the red zone, the end zone is only 10 yards.
Yeah.
And everything else obviously is tighter. Now there's a wall. Now the defense can creep up and use the boundaries of the field to their advantage by using that leverage.
Yeah.
So it's much tougher to sneak in passes. And if a team is generally playing more of a run-heavy thing, because if you think like, kind of like in nickel defense, when you have more DBs on the field, you're putting someone faster out there because they can cover the extra space.
Yeah.
But when you're in a small space, someone slower like myself can adequately cover a zone because the field's not as big. So you can play more run heavy to stop the run in the red zone, and passing is harder. So when you get close to that area, the probability of the defense being able to stuff, despite it being such short yardage, it does increase. But the thing is how many times are you going to get that close? You can make the argument that, yeah, especially in that situation, that's 4-down territory. And games on the line, a field goal doesn't help you. A field goal is not helpful because you still got to rely on getting the ball back, which, what are the odds that
you have to get the ball back, and you can't even kick another field. You need to get the touchdown one way or another.
Exactly. And what are the odds you get the ball back with that little time left? And what happened? I don't think Aaron Rodgers touches the field after that play. I think that's his last play on the field.
Yeah.
So you need to score there. The fact that miscommunication happened is tough. Now, back to the previous field goals. They're tough because you can't get that close to the end zone in a game where you need points and not take points. Like the Devontae thing. They tried 3 times. 3 times they could have scored, and they didn't. They're not in a space to say, let's go for it on 4th down, because the odds of them getting it decrease the more they shit the bed there. They have to take the points.
In my head, I'm looking at that like a roulette table, and I just saw 3 reds. I gotta bet black. It's gotta work. Like my percentage, especially when you look at throughout the season, you're 80% in the red zone. This guy doesn't make those mistakes often. He's made them twice. What are the odds that he makes it again? You've got one of the best receivers in the league, one of, if not the best quarterback this year, and you're gonna say odds are he's gonna fuck that up again. Like that's in my mind where it's like he hasn't. He doesn't do this. He's made 2 mistakes. You think he's gonna make another one right away? In my mind, I'm rolling with my guy. I put trust in him. If I kick that field goal, that's me saying I don't trust either of you to not make that mistake again. And if somebody were to say that to me, if I'm that guy and I'm like, I know I fucked up, let's go again, and they're like, no, we're kicking. That's in my head now. I'm like, this fucker doesn't even trust me. I got to make the play the first time no matter what. And when you have that in your head, you're not just playing ball anymore. Now you're thinking.
I think when you, in over time, in different games, in different scenarios, there's many times where just taking the points, sometimes it adds up in the right way. That's the key to winning, is having those points. Sometimes that's all you can get, and sometimes that's the difference. Yeah, you can risk it to get the biscuit and go for it. Sometimes it works out, but the odds are it's not necessarily the right choice all the time. Now, speaking back specifically to that 4th down at the end of the game, it's tough because the comparison I heard that I really liked was, it's like game's on the line, there's no time left on the clock, you got MJ on the court. Who's getting the ball? Do you put the ball in MJ's hands, or you let Steve Kerr take a shot? Obviously, you give the ball to MJ. You put it in your best player's hands.
Don't use that analogy, because MJ literally had an end of the game
where he gives it to Kerr.
He hits the winning shot.
Okay, so irony is...
But I know what you're saying.
You give it... You let your best
player...
player...
The idea is that MJ had the ball.
He made the call.
Aaron Rodgers should have the ball to make that decision. Yeah. 100%.
And the thing is you take the ball out of Aaron's hands and say, we're just going to kick it. A little sus.
Yeah.
I think...
I think that's the worst call you can make, and people are like, oh, well, hindsight's 2020. It's like, I could have any sight. I looked at it, it's like, okay, you need 8, so you took 3. Now you need another touchdown and hope that Tom Brady doesn't get it close enough for a field goal. Right. Or, no, not even close enough. Get a first down.
Yeah, and it's tough because it really brings back... I know it's not quite as, it's not quite as strong feeling as the Seattle thing, but I know it brings back the same feelings of you didn't have to see hindsight. You don't need hindsight to make that call. With Seattle, like, you're on the 1 yard line. You're running it with beast mode. That's the whole reason you're here in the first place.
You have a man that has made a career of not getting hit first. Yeah, like he always gets 1 yard. If you hit him behind the line of scrimmage, he's getting to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
Like that was retarded.
So that one's really tough. This echoes that in a lot of ways. I don't think it's as guaranteed as the other one, like as obvious, but it's in that same realm of like most people watching that game are like, why are they kicking it?
And even in my mind too, if he doesn't get that, now Tom Brady's at the 5. Like, as much as there's a lot of yard for him to do anything,
they blow it. He's on the 5 anyway. This is the best field position you want him in.
Instead, you're going to give him the ball at the 20 or 25, depending on what they got. And now they have, once they punt it, it's going all the way to your end zone. So you're going to have to run that whole thing again.
Right.
Whereas you get to the 5, you have a chance of stopping him there. Yeah.
Now, one more thing before we talk about the repercussions of the game. One part of the game that was absolutely so much fun for me to watch, because I'm a D lineman, was watching that pass rush. Yo, JPP got after the ball like nobody's business. This guy, he was on his back all day.
Yeah.
Like, the pass rush they got by just sending 4, they didn't even really have to blitz most of the game. I saw like 1 or 2 blitzes. I didn't see every play, so there's probably maybe more, but like, I swear they were rushing 4 like the entire game, and they were getting pressure. And that was the thing. Aaron Rodgers, he didn't have many. I think he only had like 3 games where he was sacked more than once. Like, it was like 1 sack a day. That was pretty much all he ever dealt with.
I think he led the league in throwaways, where if anybody gets on him, he throws it away.
Yeah, but
he didn't even have the chance.
5 sacks. Yo, he was getting dropped all the time, and that plays into the psyche of like, wow, like, I don't usually get sacked ever. All of a sudden, I've been sacked 3 times at halftime. This is weird.
I think I think there's 2 of them that were on 3rd down too.
Yeah,
and like that's like this is your time to kind of like, you need to make this play, and these guys are putting you down 10 yards back. Like that's tough.
The tone that defensive line set was intense, and like, you know, the defense was hitting, like, that one fumble from Aaron Jones, he got blown up.
And they're hitting, like, because that Aaron Jones had that fumble, and I think Williams had another one on the same type of play. Helmet hits the ball while they're blowing up. I think Tonyan dropped on the first fumble.
Oh yeah,
off the screen. Yeah. But yeah, like, it was so suspect, because I've never seen really fumbles that fast. Like, the guy just hit it and it's gone. It's out.
Boop.
And
yeah, no, that was really tough. Now, one thing that I think is interesting, thinking about your Aaron Rodgers, you have not had a single skill position like a wide receiver drafted in the first round to be helpful to you in your entire career. Who do they draft this year? Your replacement. You go off MVP season, bring him to an NFC Championship game, kind of get left out to dry when the game's on the line, take all the heat to yourself. Do you want to go back to Green Bay?
This goes back to our conversation last week. I think that's something that people don't talk about enough, is that he's been wasted. Like, he's like, what, 48 touchdowns, 5 interceptions or something this year? Something crazy like that. And they don't even support you? Like, they're like, hey, can you get this guy to shadow you? Just show him the things that you do. And just maybe if you lose a step next year, maybe we'll give him a couple. That's what they're gonna do. You're still in the best, like, you're still one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and they're gonna treat you like that?
Yeah, the disrespect is pretty serious. So, like, I totally would, like, get it if he, like, put, like, some, you know, big dick down and was like, hey, trade me. I don't know. I think it's interesting.
There's a couple different teams that need that. Like, we talked about Pittsburgh. They need a quarterback. As much as I think it'd be better for them to get a young quarterback and try and, like, mold him and push forward, Aaron Rodgers, like, escalate. He obviously Ben Roethlisberger he's not elite. He's a good quarterback, but he's never been in that same discussion. Like, he's been on the cusp of it. But he's never been in the same discussion as Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning.
Yeah,
guys
he has
of the caliber.
He has like the Super Bowl wins, and he has like the team accolades. But he's never really, he's never been like considered like the greatest or like the best quarterback in the league or anything like that.
Yeah,
but yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot of teams that could definitely use a quarterback. I think I saw some posts saying there was like only like 10 teams that have like guaranteed starters for next year. Everybody else is basically on the market or potentially going to change quarterbacks. Like, I was like, damn, I'm pretty sure like that sounds like probably like the most in 1 year it's ever been. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's quite interesting. I think Rodgers has had a lot of disrespect, and I thought he was going to honestly ask for a trade at the beginning of the season. But at the same time, he's got a really nice situation in Green Bay as far as like Devontae Adams is fucking gross. Aaron Jones is nice. They have a really good O-line usually, but they're missing like some key linemen, including their tackle. Their tackle got bodied this week. They're missing some like David Bacchiardi or whatever his name is. They're missing guys like that. So they have a good team and they have a good defense. Does he necessarily find the same situation somewhere else? I mean, he could. Places like the LA Rams could be really nice. Places like San Francisco 49ers could be nice. But you don't know. So it's hard to say.
Yeah. And LA Rams, it'd almost be kind of because he'd obviously having Donald and Ramsey like dominating your defense. That's a good starting point no matter what. But the offense, he's basically got like Tom Brady in New England offense, like where it's a
no
bunch
running
of,
back, but you got two decent receivers.
Exactly, but that's the thing is that's basically what Tom Brady ran with in New England is two fast receivers. But obviously Gronk is a little bit of an exception at all times, which I love. It was like they paid him a little homage by giving him that one little shovel pass. They're like, yeah, block. Just this one, we're gonna fake that block because all you've done in the last 3 games is block. We're gonna fake it, give it to him, and like,
I love
watching him run. It's like looking. Oh, it's like a horse that's been out of shape. Like the horse is on his last legs. They're like, oh, just let him run a quick lap before we take him out back. He's not that old, but he's that big. Like, he's slow. He's looking like a lineman. Like, legit running like a lineman.
He's a big dude.
He's big. But, like, what, 20-yard gain? Average 20 yards in the playoffs, basically? Like, because that's it. That's all he's done.
So
but that was a fun one.
We'll end this on the predictions. Kansas City versus Tampa Bay.
Kansas City, and I'm taking the over on any bet.
This guy.
I don't know. Tom Brady, you don't bet against Tom Brady, but Patrick Mahomes is going to be better. He's going to be better. He played sharper. He's got guys that if he doesn't play that sharp, they can make it work. And I think the big difference too is that the D-line can, if they get in on him, he's agile enough, and he's Aaron Rodgers is a little agile, but he's agile for an old guy. Patrick Mahomes is an agile quarterback, and he throws off the run better than almost anybody else in the league. So I think KC's taking it.
So everyone is.
Are you a man of Skip Bayless's word, or
so? Everyone is, on the KC hype train, and I get it. Especially the last time, because they played earlier this year, and it was a pipe show.
It's basically just a train. It's not even a hype train anymore. There's no hype. It's just the facts.
Tyreek Hill ran wild on them in that first game. I think he had 200 yards in the first half.
Yeah.
He ran wild. I lost big on that fantasy week because Tyreek Hill went wild.
Yeah.
That being said, I know KC is the team. I feel like if Tom can get ahead early, KC usually doesn't play as well from behind.
Didn't they win every playoff game on their Super Bowl run, starting the game from behind? Didn't they trail at half in every single game?
Last year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We're talking about this year. This year, they struggle to beat teams on a consistent basis. They get out early.
They only lost one game.
They get out early, and then they hold on to it until the end of the game.
Okay.
Last year, they were coming back from any game, and you're like, yo, these guys, it's never over with them.
This is what I'm saying. That
was last year.
Now that it's like, they can't come from behind because they're always winning the whole time.
Yeah. So, I know KC looks like the team. They've got a hell of a team. And my brain says, KC's the better team. Pick KC. But my heart says, you never bet against Tom Brady. And I have thought Tom Brady didn't have a chance way more than once. And he has fucked me at every turn. And I give up. I submit. I'm never betting against Tom Brady. I think I'm going to call the score right now.
Okay.
35-33 Tom Brady.
Okay. I'm going 35-20 KC.
Okay.
I'm going 35-20.
20?
I'm going 20.
Okay.
But it's going to be a hell of a game. It's going to be good because Tom Brady is going to do Tom Brady things. There's going to be a handful of times where you can't believe it worked and he's going to pull it off. But KC has more than one person making Tom Brady plays. They've got more than one person that can decide if the game is going to be a rout or if it's going to be a close game. Whereas I don't think the Buccaneers can match how many different players can make a difference, especially with Antonio Brown out. If he comes back for the game,
AB should be back.
If he's back, that adds in that extra little guy. But
don't take for granted how good of skill position players they have in Tampa Bay, because they're nice, and that defense is balling right now, and they're like on fire right now. They're playing out of their mind. That being said, Kelsey and Tyreek Hill are playing out of their mind.
That's the thing, is that for me in football, I bet on offense over defense. Defense can be great, but offense you get two little quick hits. It doesn't matter how, because defense you have to be great 100% of the time. Offense you need to score. You need to make two big breaks, and you can mitigate all that the defense has done. So in that matter, I'm betting on offense, and I'm taking KC.
Well, as a defensive player, you know I've lived by the old school mantra that defense wins championships. Mm-hmm. But Tom Brady is Tom Brady, and there's a reason him and Gronk are going back to the Super Bowl. It's no mystery. This is what he does. So we'll end it there. I think I'm very excited to see how this goes. We got 2 weeks to sit and stew on these predictions, because next week is the fucking Pro Bowl and no one gives a shit.
Yeah.
And I think everyone, especially like Green Bay fans, are just pissed that their players are going to be there.
They're just going to sit it out.
Because if you play the Super Bowl, you don't go to the Pro Bowl.
Yeah. Oh, I'm just thinking, if they're playing the Pro Bowl, they get it within 5, and Aaron Rodgers just tells Coach, hey, just kick it. Fuck it, I'm off. If I can't get it to go to the Super Bowl, I don't want it to go to the Pro Bowl.
That's so tough. Oh, jeez.
Oh.
Alrighty. We'll wrap it up there.
I don't think I looked at the camera more than a handful of times, so we're going to get used to this. It's going to take a minute. We're going to figure this out, but...
yeah, we get caught in a heated discussion. It's like, oh, there's a camera here?
Yeah. Because we both love each other, so when we have like an argument, we look each other in the eye to see if our souls are both in it, and we know that they are. So we need to know that we're both hitting on the... Because if one of us takes a step off, it's cutthroat. It's a fight. But
it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, hopefully everybody, if you were still listening now, thank you very much. If you disagree with anything we say, let us know. We'll ignore it. If you agree, we'll give you a like. Maybe add you.
Hey.
But
likes.
Yeah.
Chill.
But
all right.
But thanks for listening.
Wrap it up. Peace
Out.